Happy Monday, Jays. I'm Emma Cronin.
And I'm Nathan Gray. In today's show, Jackson Ogden will give us a weather report.
Jillian Fleming and Mary Mason will update us on everything we need to know about our Blue Jay athletics, as well as a Super Bowl halftime review with Delaney.
And Gianna Florida will be giving us some motivation for our Monday, which I think we all need.
Yes, we do, for sure. So to start off the show, let's toss it over to Gianna for some motivation.
Good morning, Jays. To help you get through this lazy and slow Monday, I thought I would give you guys some motivation. My first quote is, "It always seems impossible until it is done, and the harder you work for something, the greater you feel when you achieve it." These quotes are super important and something you should constantly have on your mind because truthfully, the harder you work, the better you feel after you accomplish your goal. The outcome is always what matters. Also, by having a positive mindset, it will help your mood and motivation. My last thing to keep you guys motivated for school is this is the only 5-day school week in February. That is all I have for you today. Now back to Emma and Nate.
Thank you, Gianna. I definitely needed that for today. And Nathan, you know who else probably needed that?
Who, Emma?
NFL fans everywhere, because yesterday's Super Bowl was a memorable one for not good reasons.
I mean, it was a little bit of a disappointment. I know there's a lot of controversy before the game, with the Saints no call, and then everyone wants the overtime rule to get changed. But now let's toss it over to Delaney Tarpley to hear a little bit on the halftime show at the Super Bowl.
Thank you, guys. So let's talk about that Super Bowl halftime show. Maroon 5, Travis Scott, and Big Boy performed at the 53rd Super Bowl and received some interesting reactions. Some are going so far as to call this the worst Super Bowl performance of all time. New York Times reporter John Caramanica said of the performance, "It was an inessential performance from a band that might have lost some moral authority if it had any moral authority to lose." Now, personally, I thought Adam Levine pulled it together for one of the band's most popular songs, "She Will Be Loved," and my little brother and sister loved the 15-second SpongeBob intro before Travis Scott came on. Also, a little props to the performers who are choosing to donate their Super Bowl money to Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. Honestly, they really didn't have to do that much to be more entertaining than the game itself. And with that said, let's go over to Jillian Fleming and Mary Mason with sports.
Thank you, Delaney. Since the Chiefs didn't make it to the Super Bowl, Mary, I did not end up watching it last night. And with that being said, let's head over to Drew Mackey to get his thoughts on last night's game. Drew?
Last night's Super Bowl was a classic. The New England Patriots beat the Los Angeles Rams 13-3, and the 16 combined points set a record for the lowest scoring game in Super Bowl history. Personally, it was the most boring game I've ever watched. The first 3 quarters consisted of pretty much nothing but punts. And there was actually a Super Bowl record by the Rams' own John Hecker with a 64-yard punt. Also in the first half, there was a missed field goal by the Patriots. That's the overview for the first half. And in the second half, the Patriots had a touchdown drive that capped off by Sony Michel. The following drive by the Rams, there was actually an interception by Stephen Gilmore, and that pretty much sealed the game. And Julian Edelman was the MVP for the Super Bowl. And that's about it. Tom Brady is now a 6-time Super Bowl champ. And that's all basically about the game. Now let's throw it back to Jillian and Mary.
Thank you, Drew. Now in Blue Jay Athletics, the Sapphires traveled to Orlando this past week for the UDA Nationals. They took 8th in the nation for their game day routine. Out of 88 teams in Jazz, the Sapphires ranked 11th, and out of 72 teams in Palm, they ranked 14th. Congrats.
The girls' basketball team is tied for first in conference as of right now and travels to Park Hill South for a conference matchup tonight. Both teams are sitting tied for first in conference and have an even record of 17-3. JV plays at 5:30 and varsity falls at 7. The boys play at South tomorrow night as well. Sophomore team is at 5 in the Aux Gym and JV's at 5:30 and varsity falls at 7.
The girls' swim team placed 4th at conference, collected 13 medals, and had 30 season best times in what was their best meet of the year so far. And all the girls medaled in all 3 relays and took home 10 individual medals.
That is all we have for you guys today for sports. Now back to the front desk.
Thank you, ladies, and congrats, and good luck at your game tonight versus Park Hill South.
Yeah, go get that win, ladies. Now for some announcements. Sophomores, Jostens will return February 6th and February 7th during lunch periods to receive ring orders. They will also be at school on February 6th from 4 to 6 p.m. for family ordering time.
Now, as you may have heard, the AP Biology classes will be hosting the annual blood drive on February 8th from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. in the Aux Gym. Due to the large outbreak of the flu in our area, and especially this brutal winter, the Community Blood Center has issued an emergency appeal for blood donors. The blood center's blood supply is critically low, and as donor participation has not kept up with the pace of the needs of the hospital patients.
Students 16 years or older are eligible to donate. Please register at the sign-up tables at lunch between now and Tuesday, February 5th, or by contacting any AP Biology student or Mr. Hahn in room 209. Teachers and community members may register the day of and skip the line altogether. Now you know, Emma, rumor has it that freezing rain is in the week's forecast, so maybe another snow day for us seniors.
Hopefully, like we said, it's been a brutal winter, and I don't mind if that keeps up. So Jackson, what do you have in store for us tonight?
Well, guys, I don't think we'll be getting that ice today, but tomorrow it could come late. If tomorrow it would come later this week. Today we'll have a high of 38 and a low of 23 with no rain or snow in the forecast. Tomorrow, however, we will have a high of 33 and a low of 28 with some nighttime drizzle that will lead us into Wednesday morning. Speaking of Wednesday morning, if we do have school, we will see the ice turn into rain, and that will be the theme of the day as we go back above freezing later on with a high of 44 and a low of 18. That's all I have for weather today. Reporting for KLHS, the man himself, Jackson Ogden.
Thank you, Jackson. I really hope we do get that snow day. It sounds like maybe possibly Wednesday, maybe.
Fine by me.
But now with February is filled with love, it is also an important month because it is Black History Month. Victoria Southwell has more on that.
Black History Month is important to observe and celebrate the history from the people and events occurring in history. Black History Month used to be called Negro History Week until 1926, where it got celebrated for a month. Let's see what Black History Month means to some people and learn some influential quotes from some Black leaders.
Black History Month is important to me because we're just celebrating the achievements that the Black leaders did for us.
Why is it important to me? Because it shows the contributions that we added to American society and basically in history as a whole. So it's always important to see people who look like you, talk like you, and the contributions that they made to society.
Well, Black History Month is important to me for several reasons, but I would say the main reason is it's just I look at it more as an acknowledgement of those who have come before us and paved the way for freedom and liberties that not only African American or Black American people have, but all people. I view the Civil Rights Movement as a movement not only for Blacks, but for everybody. I think most people in our country have a lot of the freedoms and liberties that they do because of some things that were etched out in the Civil Rights Movement. So that's why I enjoy Black History Month. I celebrate it as often as I can, not just the month of February, but certainly in the month of February, I'm more mindful of it.
Black History Month is the entire month of February. It is a celebration in the U.S., Canada, the United Kingdom, and the Netherlands. Black History Month began to remember important people and events in history from the Black and African American communities.
There's no struggle and there's no progress by Frederick Douglass.
The quote I'm going to recite basically is going to be the Maya Angelou quote behind me. History, despite a wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, but if it's faced with courage, need to be not lived again, by Maya Angelou. Because basically we need to learn from history. Why is it important to us? It basically shows us that we have to have courage to stand up to the history that we had in the past.
I'd have to use the one that never be limited by other people's limited imaginations. I don't like people to put me in a certain box and try to make me stay in that box, especially when it comes to my mind. I believe I'm a fairly intelligent person, and that's because I strive to be an everyday learner and learn as much as I can. And you have to do that, otherwise you become trapped in a box.
I hope you learn more about Black History Month. This has been Victoria Southall signing off with KLHS.
Now if everyone could please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. From KLHS, this has been Nathan Gray, Drew Mackey, Delaney Tarpley, Jillian Fleming, Mary Mason, Jackson Ogden, and all of our amazing production crew. I'm Emma Cronin.
Have a marvelous Monday, guys.
Have a marvelous Monday.